Terry and I have been singing together now for 46 years and 7 months. We met in Kent in the spring of 1973, a few years after the shootings. She was just about to start her last year at Kent State University. I was living there. Kent was home to me. What happened on May 4th, 1970 has had a very deep, profound effect on both of us. And for me, because I was from there, from Kent, and for Terry, because she was there on campus that day, that she was in the crowd of students in the line of fire and was not wounded, survived the incident. But it had a profound effect on us, what we do with our music, what we've done with our lives ever since. And I feel very fortunate that I've been able to actually have her in my life. So she contributed an essay to Susie's book, and she's going to read an excerpt from it.
Who was I to survive this? Why wasn't I dead? No time for such questions now. I've got to find my sister. Is she among the dead or the dying? Why can't I cry? Why are they still hurting us and talking to us like we were the enemy? Didn't they have the guns? Disperse, go home, leave immediately. Professor Frank's words ringing in our ears. It'll be a bloodbath. Only more of you will die if you don't leave now. And so we did. I don't remember how I got home, but arriving the same time as I did was my sister. We hugged in the front yard and both began to cry, the first time for me. And I had been crying ever since. We were all branded troublemakers then, anyone who looked like me or called him or herself a Kent State student. God help me to always be a troublemaker, because I believe now that's why I was allowed to live. To continue to help stir things up, to use that freedom of speech they tried to shoot down that day. But they didn't shoot all of us. They would never be able to shoot all of us. They tried not long after Kent at Jackson State, and I'm ashamed to say that my country barely took note of that or of Orangeburg 2 years before, or any number of other cases of unjustified murder by authorities, summary executions that have gone unpunished. But then, we in our country don't like to talk about these things any more than we like to admit the genocide of Native Americans, slavery, racism, or many other injustices. But as long as there are those of us still here to tell our stories, and people who care enough to ask us to tell them, I feel lucky enough to be alive to share mine. 50 years, and here I sit again, remembering, learning, reflecting. Isn't that what the so-called memorial at Kent State says to those parents who lost their children, and to the country that shot us down? To those of us who were there, and to students of today, inquiring? We will never stop questioning authority. We're still here, and your bullets can never silence us.